Okay, I'm live. So, just need to make sure my phone's up real quick. Um, okay. Today I'll be reading Numbers 18 through 21. Let's get started. Provision for the Priesthood. Chapter 18. The Lord said to Aaron, "You, your sons, and your ancestral family will be responsible for inclinity against sanctuary. You and your sons will be responsible for inclinity involving your priesthood. But also bring your relatives with you from the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, so they may join you and assist you and your sons in the front tents of the testimony. They will perform duties for you and for the whole tent. They must not come near the sanctuary equipment or the altar. Otherwise, both they and you will die. They are to join you and guard the tent of meeting, doing all the work of the tent. But no unauthorized person may come near. They are to guard the sanctuary and the altar, so that the wrath may not fall on the Israelites again. Look, I selected your fellow Levites from the Israelites as a gift for you, assigned by the Lord to work at the tent of meeting. But you and your sons will carry your priestly responsibilities for everything concerning the altar and for what is inside the curtain, and you will do that work. I'm giving you the work of the priesthood as a gift, but an unauthorized person who comes near the sanctuary will be put to death." Support for the priests and Levites. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron, "Look, I have put you in charge of the contributions to me. As the holy offerings, the Israelites, I have given them to you and your sons as a portion of and a permanent statute. A portion of holiest offerings kept in the fire, that will be yours. Every one of their offerings that they give me, whether the grain offering, sin offering, or guilt offering, will be most holy for you and your sons. You are to eat it as a most holy offering. Every male may eat it. It is to be holy to you. Contribution of the gifts also belongs to you. I have given you all your sons and daughters as a permanent statute. Every ceremonially clean person in your house may eat it. I'm giving you all the best of the fresh oil, new wine, and grain, which the Israelites give to the Lord as their first fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, belong to you. Every clean person in your house may eat them. Everything in Israel that is permanently dedicated to the Lord belongs to you. The firstborn of every living thing, human or animal, presented to the Lord belongs to you. But you must ceremonially redeem a human firstborn and redeem the firstborn of an unclean animal. You will pay the redemption price for a month-old male according to your assessment. 5 shekels of silver by a standard sanctuary shekel, which is 20 gerahs. However, you must not redeem the firstborn of an ox, sheep, or goat. They are holy. You are to splatter their blood on the altar and burn their fat as a fire offering for a pleasing aroma to the Lord. But their meat belongs to you. It belongs to you like the breast of the presentation offering and the right thigh. I give to you and your sons and daughters all the holy contributions that the Israelites present to the Lord as a permanent statute. It is a permanent covenant of salt before the Lord for you as well as your offspring. The Lord told Aaron, "You will not have an inheritance in their land. There will be no portion among them for you. I am your portion and your inheritance among the Israelites. Look, I have given the Levites every tenth in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work they do. The work of the tent of meeting. The Israelites must never again come near the tent of meeting, or they will incur guilt and die. Levites will do the work of the tent of meeting, and they will bear the consequences of their inclinity. Levites will not receive an inheritance among the Israelites. This is a permanent statute throughout your generations. For I have given them the tenth that the Israelites present to the Lord as a contribution for their inheritance. That is why I told them that they will not receive an inheritance among the Israelites." The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Levites and tell them, when you receive from the Israelites the tenth that I have given to you as your inheritance, you will present a part of it as an offering to the Lord, a tenth of the tenth. Your offering will be accredited to you as if it were your grain offering from the threshing floor or the full harvest from the winepress. You are to present an offering to the Lord from every tenth you receive from the Israelites. Give some of it to the priest Aaron as an offering to the Lord. You must present the entire offering due to the Lord from all your gifts." Oops. I'm sneezing out. Okay. Give some of it to the priest Aaron as an offering to the Lord. You must present an entire offering due to the Lord from all your gifts. That the best part of the tenth is to be consecrated. Tell them further, once you have presented the best part of the tenth, and it is credited to you, Levites, as produce of the threshing floor or the winepress, then you and your household may eat it anywhere. It is your wage in return for your work at the tenth meeting. You will not incur guilt because of it once you have presented the best part of it. But you must not defile the Israelites' holy offerings, so that you will not die. Purification Ritual. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron. This is a legal statute that the Lord has commanded. Instruct the Israelites to bring you an unblemished red cow that has no defect and has never been yoked. Give it to the priest Eleazar, and he will have it brought outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Priest Eleazar is to take some of the blood of his finger and sprinkle it 7 times toward the friends of the tent of meeting. The cow is to be burned in his sight. Its hide, flesh, and wood and blood are to be burned along with its waist. The priest is to take cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson yarn and throw them into the fire offering where the cow is burning. Then the priest must wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. After that he may enter the camp, but he will remain ceremonially unclean until morning. The one who burned the cow must also wash his clothes and bathe in water, and he must remain unclean until morning, until evening. Oh, wait, this is chapter 19. Oh, wait, no. A man who is cleaned is to gather up the cow's ashes and deposit them outside the camp in a ceremonially clean place. The ashes will be kept by the Israelite community for preparing the water to remove impurity. It is a sin offering. Then the one who gathers up the cow's ashes must wash his clothes, and he will remain unclean until evening. This is a permanent statute for the Israelites and for the alien who resides among them. The person who touches any human corpse will be unclean for 7 days. He has to purify himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd and 7th days, he will not be clean. Anyone who touches the body of a person who has died, does not purify himself, defiles the tabernacle of the Lord. That person must be cut off from Israel. He remains unclean because of the water for impurity has not been sprinkled on him. His uncleanness, I can't say these words, but it's still on him. This is the law when a person dies in the tent, and everyone who enters the tent and everyone who's already in the tent will be unclean for 7 days. And any open container without a lid tied on it is unclean. Anyone in the open field who touches a person who has been killed by a sword or has died, or who touches a human bone or a grave will be unclean for 7 days. For the purification of the unclean person, they are to take some of the ashes of a burnt sin offering, put them in a jar, and add fresh water to them. A person who is clean is to take high salt, dip it in water, and sprinkle the tent, all the furnishings of the people who are there. He's also sprinkled one who touched a bone, a grave, a corpse, or a person who has been killed. The one who is clean is to sprinkle the unclean person on the 3rd day and the 7th day. After he purifies the unclean person on the 7th day, the one being purified must wash his clothes and bathe in water, and he'll be clean by evening. But a person who is unclean and does not purify himself, that person will be cut off from the assembly because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water for impurity has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. This is a permanent statute for them. The person who sprinkles the water for impurity is to wash his clothes, and whoever touches the water for impurity will be unclean until evening. Anything the unclean person touches will become unclean, and anyone who touches it will become unclean until evening. Water from the rock. Chapter 20. This is halfway done now. The entire Israelite community entered the wilderness of Sin in the 1st month, and they settled in Kadesh. Miriam died and was buried there. There was no water for the community, so they assembled against Moses and Aaron. The people quarreled with Moses and said, "If only they perished with their brothers, perished before the Lord. Why have you brought the assembly into the wilderness for us, and our livestock to die here? Why have you led us from Egypt to bring us to this evil place? It is not a place of grain, figs, vines, and pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." Then Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of meeting. They fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Take the staff and assemble the community. You and your brother Aaron are to speak to the rock while they watch, and it'll yield its water. You will bring out water for them from the rock, and provide drink to the community and their livestock." So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence just as he commanded him. Moses and Aaron summoned the assembly in front of the rock. Moses said to them, "Listen, you rebels, we must bring water out of this rock for you." Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff, so that abundant water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you do not trust me to demonstrate my holiness in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. These are the waters of Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled with the Lord, and he demonstrated his holiness to them." Edom denies passage. Moses sent messengers to Kadesh to the king of Edom. "This is what your brother Israel says. You know the hardships that have overtaken us. Our fathers went down to Egypt, and we lived in Egypt many years. But the Egyptians treated us and our fathers badly. When we cried out to the Lord, he heard our plea and sent an angel, and he brought us out of Egypt. Now look, we are in Kadesh, a city on the border of your territory. Please let us travel through your land. We won't travel through any field or vineyard, or drink any well water. We will travel the king's highway. We won't turn on the right or the left until we have traveled through your territory." But Edom answered him, "You will not travel through our land. We will come out and confront you with the sword. We will go on the main road," the Israelites replied to them, "and if our herds drink your water, we must pay its price. There will be no problem. Only let us travel through on foot." Yet Edom insisted, "You may not travel through." And they came out to confront them with a large force of heavily armed people. Edom refused to allow Israel to travel through their territory, and Israel turned away from them. Aaron's death. After they set out from Kadesh, the entire Israelite community came to Mount Hor. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor on the border of the land of Edom, "Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I have given the Israelites, because you both rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar and bring them up Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar. Aaron will be gathered to his people and die there." So Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they climbed Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community. After Moses removed Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. The whole community saw that Aaron had passed away. The entire house of Israel mourned for him 30 days. Canaanite king defeated. Chapter 21. Final chapter. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in Negev, heard that Israel was coming on the Atharim road, he fought against Israel and captured prisoners. Then Israel made a vow to the Lord, "If you will hand this people to us, we will completely destroy their cities." The Lord listened to Israel's request and handed the Canaanites over to them. The Israelites completely destroyed their cities, so they named the place Ramah, the bronze snake. They set out from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to bypass the land of Edom. But the people became impatient because of the journey. The people spoke against God and Moses. "Why have you led us from Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread or water, and it tests this wretched food." Then the Lord sent poisonous snakes among the people and bit them, so that many Israelites died. The people then came to Moses and said, "We sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Intercede with the Lord so that he will take the snakes away from us." And Moses interceded for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake image and mount it on a pole. When anyone who has been looks at it, he will recover." So Moses made a bronze snake and mounted it on a pole. Whenever someone was bitten and he looked at the bronze snake, he recovered. Journey around Moab. The Israelites set out and camped on Oboth. They set out from Oboth and camped at Leobarium in the wilderness that borders Moab on the east. From there they went and camped at Zered Valley. They set out from there and camped on the other side of the Arnon River, in the wilderness that extends from the Amorite border, because Arnon was the Moabite border between Moab and the Amorites. Therefore, it's stated in the book of the Lord's wars, Waheb and Suphah, and the ravines of the Arnon, even the slopes of ravines that extend to the side of Ar, and the land that borders Moab. From there they went out to Beer, the well that Moses about. Gather people so I may give them water. The Israelites sang the song. Spring up well, sing to it, the princes dug the well, the nobles of the people hauled it out, the scepter and with their staffs. They went from the wilderness to Matana, from the Matana to the Nahalil, from Nahalil to Bamoth, from Bamoth to the valley of the territory of Moab near the Pisgah highlands that overlook the wasteland. Amorite kings defeated. Israel sent messengers to say to King Sihon of the Amorites, "Let us travel through your land. We don't want to go in the fields or vineyards. We don't want to drink any well water. We'll travel the king's highway until we have traveled through your territory." But Sihon would not let Israel travel through his territory. Instead, he gathered his whole army and went to confront Israel in the wilderness. When he came to Jahaz, he fought against Israel. Israel struck him with the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, but only up to the Amorite border because it was fortified. Israel took all the cities and lived in these Amorite cities, including Heshbon and all surrounding villages. Heshbon was the city of King Shinon of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and taken control of his land as far as the Arnon. Therefore, poets said, "Come to Heshbon, let it be rebuilt. Let the city of Shion be restored. For fire came out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Shion. It's consumed Arab Moab, the cities of Arnon's heights. Woe to you, Moab! You have been destroyed." People of Chemosh gave up his sons as refugees and his daughters into captivity to Sihon, the Amorite king. We threw them down. Heshbon's been destroyed as far as Dibon. We caused desolation as far as Melphah, which reaches as far as Medeba. So Israel lived in the Amorite lands. After Moses sent spies into Jazer, Israel captured its surrounding villages and drove out the Amorites who were there. And then they turned and went up the road to Bashan. The king of Og of Bashan came out against them and his whole army to battle at Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not fear him, for I have handed him over to you along with his whole army and the lamb. Do to him as you did to King Sihon of Amorites who lived in Heshbon." So they struck him and his sons and his whole army until no one was left, and they took possession of his land. So that's all for the reading for today. And so it starts out in chapter 18. I'm just flipping back. Kind of read along as I'm talking. Okay, so it starts out in chapter 18, and it's talking about the provision for priesthood and all of that. And then the support for the priests and the Levites, and all this offerings and what they eat, and all the stuff they're to do. There's a lot of stuff. And then the ritual that they perform for purification, and the way you have to burn the cow in a weird way, and then how it makes you clean and unclean and all that. And then I really like the part where it talks about the water and the rock, where there is no water, and so God gave them water, where they struck a rock twice with a staff, and then water didn't just come out in a small stream; it gushed out water. That's pretty cool. And then Edom denies passage, and so they have to go around after multiple times. And then Aaron dies on the mountain, just as the Lord said, and so Aaron took off his priestly garments and gave them to his son, and then he died on the mountain. And then they defeated the Canaanite king, but then the people kind of rebelled against God, so he sent out snakes, but Moses came out for him, and so God told him to make a bronze snake on top of a pole, and so anyone who looked at it would recover from the snake bites. And then it talks about their journey around Moab, and then how they defeated the kings of the Armorite Kings, and then it ends there. So that is all for today. I hope you've had a great day so far and a great rest of your day. So remember, God loves you. Goodbye.